might be leading you astray. So listen. I wanted to ask you something honestly first though. When was the last time and when you compared yourself to a successful entrepreneur and felt like you were failing? Right? Maybe you saw someone posting about their 4 a.m. morning routine, their third business launch this year, or how they just grinded through an 80-hour, 100-hour, whatever work week. Just grind through, do it. Don't be a whatever, right? Don't be a weakling. And you thought, why can't I do that? What's wrong with me? Why am I exhausted, tired, burnt out? Or why do I not want to do that? Just grind and grind. Why can't I just grind and grind and grind and grind and grind? You're like, what is wrong with me? And I used to think that too until I realized there's nothing wrong with me. And here's what you need to understand. Nothing is wrong with you, right? But something might be very wrong with who you're taking advice from. This is the truth they don't tell about success stories, especially if you're an impact-driven entrepreneur like me who loves to have a lifestyle business, yes, wants to make lots of money, but have that as a symbol of my success and the fun I've had in the world. Not that I've just been grinding in the basement, grinding, doing nothing else but working my life away, right? So nothing's wrong with you. There might be something wrong with who you're taking advice from or who you're comparing yourself to. So the truth they don't tell you about success stories. I've been there after 14 years in the corporate world, IBM, Novell, Lenovo. I had built also 8 businesses in my years. One of them, my nutrition practice, brought in over $200K a year, my nutrition and health coaching practice. On paper, total success. In reality, I was working 55, 65, 75, 80-hour work weeks, popping anxiety meds and slowly dying inside. And I remember the moment everything shifted. My niece had asked me why I never visit anymore. I'm like, oh my God. She says, Uncle James, why don't you come to dinner anymore, to our events, to skating and things like that anymore? I'm like, oh my God, if this is success, I don't want it. Like not being able to have time with friends and family and kids and amazing people and traveling, experiencing. But here's the thing nobody warned me about when I was building that business. I was taking advice from people who survived something most people can't survive. And that's the problem 90% of entrepreneurial advice out there. So what survivorship bias really means for your business. Okay, so you know those entrepreneurs who brag about sleeping 4 hours a night, working weekends, never taking vacations. First of all, let's get them something better to brag about. That's bullshit to brag about that kind of stuff, right? No, sleeping 4 hours a night. Oh, I did this and that. Or, oh, I haven't taken a vacation in years. That's not success. That's ridiculousness. You know, they survive that lifestyle, the crazy lifestyle. Most people don't. The ones who are burned out trying to match that intensity, they're not on podcasts. They're in therapy. Or they've quietly shut down their business and got back to corporate jobs, never to speak publicly about what happened. Right? We only hear from the winners. We never hear from the thousands who's tried the exact same hustle culture, grind, work, don't do anything except work, save every single penny and not enjoy life until you're whatever. We never hear from the thousands that tried that exact same strategy and were broken. Think about it. The guru who just says, just outwork everyone, just work more than everyone. Well, first of all, that's nonsense because there is a graph and there's a chart and there's a sharply declining productivity curve when you get past about 35, 45 hours a week. You're literally you're actually less productive. There is like this declining curve, like I was saying, of productivity. Past 35 hours a week, your productivity starts to nosedive. Past 45, it starts to like literally drop like a rock. And you know, I had been dying inside, and like I said, I shifted, and I was taking advice from people who survived something most people can't survive, like the Elon Musk or the Alex Hormozis of the world, who can apparently, I think they're aliens, who can like work with nothing else. And that's the problem with a lot of the entrepreneurial advice out there. So again, bragging about 4-hour sleep a night, working every weekend, not taking vacations for years, that is not something to brag about, right? So they somehow survive this lifestyle. They're going to burn out. Most people don't. Or Goggins, had to have what, two knee replacements, maybe more, right? Most people don't. And people, I'm not knocking these people. They're very successful. I respect them, but I don't want their lives. I don't want their lives. I don't want to be them at all. The ones who burned out trying to match that intensity, like I said, they have probably folded their business and they don't speak publicly about what happened. We only hear from winners. We never hear from the thousands that tried that approach and just kill themselves. So think about it. A guru, like I said, just outworking everyone. They have a nervous system that can apparently handle chronic stress, at least for a bit longer than most people. Again, you'll see them crash and burn eventually or go crazy, as we're seeing, some of them. That coach who claims they built a 7-figure business working 100-hour weeks, I mean, they may not have developed autoimmune issues, stress issues, weight issues, obesity issues, depression, anxiety, energy level issues. Most people do. Like there's just these aliens and outliers that can maybe do some of these crazy intense things and never stop until they're dead. Work till you're dead. Well, if you do that, you're going to be dead a lot sooner than if you work and enjoy your life. That influencer promoting like the hustle harder mindset. Their marriage may not have survived. Maybe it did. Maybe it did survive. A lot don't. A lot marriages, and maybe their marriage isn't actually all that peachy keen as we see on social media. Nothing, is as perfect as it seems. Right? Maybe their marriage is going well. Most marriages don't. If you're just working and grinding and not paying attention to probably the most important person in your life. See, this is survivorship bias at its finest. And it's costing purpose-driven and impact-driven entrepreneurs like you your health, your relationships, and ironically, your ability to make an impact. The pattern I see over and over with consultants, coaches, mission-driven entrepreneurs, amazing people wanting to make an impact with their businesses. The same cycle. Your business starts to gain freedom, time, location, financial freedom. You follow advice from successful entrepreneurs who preach hustle culture, sacrifice, working to live. And you work yourself into the ground trying to replace and replicate their methods. And maybe they don't tell you. I've seen mentors. Oh, I teach you how to not use ads, and they're using ads. I go into Facebook Meta ad system. You can see their ads. Or someone that says, oh, I do it all myself, and no, they have a team. Or they say, oh, I grind, and really they don't work that many hours, right? They have teams, they have AI, they have automations, right? So you start making decent money, but you're more trapped than ever before. You were in a corporate job. You would have something's wrong with you. Because you can't sustain what they claim to do effortlessly. Maybe they do. There's a lot of bullshit out there. Maybe they're an alien. Maybe they're going to crash and burn at any moment now or have a heart attack or something or a panic attack or depression attack anytime now. So I'm going to save you years of frustration. You're not broken. The model is. And the cost of following the wrong guide, I had a client, let's call her Sarah, who came to me making $8K a month as a business coach. Good money, decent money, okay money. She was working like 65, 70 hours a week. She hadn't taken a real vacation in 2 years. Her husband was frustrated. She was constantly anxious. Depression was starting to hit. And worst of all, she was starting to resent the very business she created to set her free. Not good. So Sarah had been following advice from a well-known business coach who built their entire empire working 90-hour weeks and sleeping on office couches and sleeping at work and things like that. The coach could do it, apparently. Sarah couldn't. Most of us can't. We're not these aliens, these outliers. And again, I respect them. It doesn't mean we have to do it. It doesn't mean it works for us. That doesn't mean Sarah was weak because it didn't work for her. It means she's human. So after working together for about 90 days using my 5 pillars framework, which is vision alignment, upgrading your thinking, this thing's got to change, influence and credibility, effortless efficiency, and freedom-focused growth, Sarah dropped to 32 hours a week, increased her revenue to $14K a month and growing, taking Fridays off completely, booked a 3-week vacation to Costa Rica. Same business, different approach. One that didn't require her to sacrifice her life. And here's a question you should be asking yourself instead of how can I work harder? How can I make more money? Stop asking, how do I work as hard as successful person? Start asking, what does a sustainable success and life look like for me? What do I want? What does it look like for me? Instead of making as much money as possible, oh, I want $1 million or $10 million, whatever business. Sometimes we got to check the ego a bit. Let money be a symbol of the success and the impact you've had in the world. Not just, I want $1 million business, $1 million business, $10 million business. You chase that, it will freaking run from you. Trust me, I've been there. You chase helping people, you chase impact, you chase making a difference and working on yourself, growing yourself. Success will chase you. Money will chase you. And it's a hell of a lot more fun and enjoyable. So again, ask yourself, am I building a business that serves my life or one that's consuming it? What does success look like for me? Whose advice am I following? And do they have a nervous system like mine? Are they a normal person? Do they have family, friends that they would like to see? Causes they like to give back to? Do they want a lifestyle business? Or do they avoid probably whatever deep down is bothering them by working nonstop? It's another addiction. Working nonstop is, I don't care what anyone says, it's another addiction, right? I love my business. I love working on my business. I love getting out there and having a life too, having an amazing kick-ass life, right? So what if I could make more money while working less? How could I do that? How would I do that? Often it comes from delegating, outsourcing, automating, and eliminating limiting things that shouldn't be done that are no longer working or never have worked, right? What if I could make more money while working less? Because here's what happened and what I learned after building 8 businesses and nearly destroying myself in the process, plus working 14 and a half years in the corporate world.